So this is the face reveal you guys finally asked for. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Yes, I finally did a face reveal. I know you've been asking for it for such a long time, and yes, I finally did it. So in this video, we're going to be going over all of the animation work that I did for both the Maniac Project and also the 12th Hour Challenge. And before I start off on this video, I want to give a huge thank you to 12th Hour for this opportunity. 12th Hour, if you're watching this, really appreciate you for reacting to my video.
That was crazy. The fact that he did all of that in 7 days with all the 3D and stuff, man, absolutely killed it.
I spent so much time working on that montage, late nights, just to get it done. In the end, it did pay off. Just letting you guys know, I didn't enter that competition to gain exposure, to gain clout off of it. The main goal was to show 12th my animation work, because in the future I'd love to work with him or Milliam or Flea on a montage. I really want to help some of the best editors in the world change the montage scene by adding a lot of animation work to the montages. I unfortunately don't have any footage of me when I saw that 12th reacted to my video. I was actually at work when he premiered that video, so I was watching it at work, and everybody else was super hyped when they saw my video inside of the intro, and that was such a great feeling. So now we're going to jump right out of Fortnite, and we're going to hop into the softwares that I use for animation work, because none of it involves Fortnite, so I'll catch you guys inside of Blender. Alright, so now we're inside of Blender, and in this video I also promised I would do a Q&A, and I got a couple questions on Twitter and YouTube, so we're going to go through those throughout the video at the right time. Alright, so the first question we got here is, what got you into animation and what did you use? So to start off, I used Blender for my animation work, and I did that in the Journey of Koupe video. If you guys haven't watched that, that was my first time I ever did animation, and it was actually kind of funny because I didn't plan on making that video as in-depth as it was. I was just going to do a blend of snowboarding and then Fortnite. And then I was messing around inside of Blender, and I had this pose. I decided, let me just try animating this. And I ended up animating it, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. I was upstairs, and I saw a picture from back when I was competing in snowboarding. And it was basically the same pose as I did with the skin inside of Blender. And then I just had the realization that I can make a change between snowboarding to Fortnite with an animation that kind of blended and merged them. And my issue though is that whenever I get involved with something like that, then I don't stop. So then I had more ideas. I had the idea to then make a storyline in the beginning. I never planned on going down that route with that video, but I'm so happy I did, because it really opened up what I can actually do with animation. So from now on, whenever I do these insane passion projects and I do a storyline, I really just want to put animation work in, because it really portrays the story in such a good way. So when I started my animation journey, I was using Cycles, which is a render engine within Blender, and this is Cycles. As you can see, it's not real time. It has to update the image. And the good thing with Cycles is you can get some really convincing, realistic renders, but the issue is timing. So there was times when I was using Cycles where I just had to set it up overnight, and it could even take up to 24 hours for like a 90 frame animation to render out. So then for the Elarm X Koupe video, I switched to using Eevee. Eevee is a real-time render engine within Blender, and as you can see right here, this is the render view. So this is what the skin is going to look like when it's all rendered out. And with a lot of lighting adjustments, you can make this look pretty convincing. But in the end, the more and more I worked with Eevee, the more I was struggling to get lighting to work properly, and I was looking at other options after I finished the Elarm X Koupe video. So that's when I stumbled across Unreal Engine. I was watching a video comparing Blender to Unreal Engine and the pros and cons of each one. And don't get me wrong, I don't hate Blender at all. I use Blender in my workflow to this day, even though I render out all my stuff inside of Unreal Engine. I still use Blender for keyframing, I still use it in my workflow, but for rendering, Unreal Engine is what I switched to just for the efficiency. Alright, before we jump into Unreal Engine, I'm going to go over a couple more questions that I got on my community tab about the Maniac Project and also my animation work. So the next set of questions are by Koupe, and he sent me a ton of questions, so shout out to him for doing that, and I'm going to kind of go through. This was for the Maniac Project. He asked, what did I use to make the project? Like I said, I use Unreal Engine for all my animation work now. Moving on to the next question, how long did it take? So the Maniac Project took forever to make, and that's because I had to learn Unreal Engine just to do this project. It took about 2 months learning while I was going through it, and I still obviously don't know everything in Unreal Engine. I mean, it's a game engine and it's incredibly in-depth. Why did you decide to do it? I did kind of go over this question a little bit, and it's just because of efficiency. If I want to pump out videos like the 12-hour challenge in 7 days, I need something where I can render out stuff on the fly. Do you enjoy doing it? Do I enjoy doing it? Of course I do. And it's so cool to see people's reactions when they're blown away with a new animation thing. Especially when I first did the Journey of Koupe video, nobody expected that, and it was so awesome to see people blown away by the animation work and the whole project in general. How do you make the Fortnite characters do animations? This is a pretty in-depth question, and I'm probably going to make tutorials in the future on how I do this. There's two paths you can take with animation work, and that is either hand animated or mocap data. Mocap data is basically what they use in Marvel and Star Wars movies, because and the issue with animating characters that are in movies like that by hand, it's tough to make them believable. And because the human eye is very good at pointing out things that don't look human. That's why you see Disney movies, they do a lot of hand animating because their characters are incredibly stylized. They can make a walk cycle on a silly looking character look believable because the character doesn't look that human. With Fortnite though, most of the proportions are similar to a human, and that leaves you with trying to make believable animations on that character. A lot of times it's by resorting to using mocap data and then just doing adjustments on your own. So there's a couple great sites for mocap data, and that would be either Rococo or Mixamo. There was times in the Maniac Project where I was using hand animated things, and there was times when I was doing mocap data. It's about using mocap or manual animation in the right point in the production. Most of the time with mocap data though, you can't just sit there and take it and throw it on a character and call it a day. There's a lot of manual adjustments you have to do, and all of that data is recorded on a human tracking suit. But whenever you rig your own model to their mocap data, you're going to have to make adjustments because it wasn't built for that character to begin with. The next question, once again by Koupe, is was it hard to do? Yes, it was very hard to do. Because with the Maniac Project, I had to sit there and I had to learn Unreal Engine just for that project, and I'm really happy how it turned out for not knowing anything about Unreal Engine before that project, and I definitely learned a ton from it to do future projects as well. And which animation was the hardest part? The hardest one, I would have to say, was in the bathroom scene. The reason why is because I built that whole bathroom set inside of Unreal Engine, and then I had to do animation work inside of that. So what I had to do is I had to build the bathroom scene, I had to export the entire bathroom into Blender. The hardest part was doing a lot of the leaning on objects, because you have to make it look like that character has weight. When he was leaning on the sink and looking at his arm, when he was opening his mouth and looking at his teeth, all of that stuff is really hard, and it took me almost a week to do just a couple animation scenes for that. So now we're inside of Unreal Engine, and this is a future project I am working on, and it's just me making my own style of Fortnite map. And basically the reason I'm doing this is if I ever do anything within the Fortnite map for animations, having this done now will save me so much time because I can just reuse it in the future. And I'm using Unreal Engine 4.26, and all of this, like I said, is in real time, which is great. Anything that I render out takes like a minute for 1,000 frames. And also you can get some really beautiful lighting within this, especially with these new volumetric clouds that they've added in 4.26. I'm still learning the water system that they added, but for example, directional light, you can get some really awesome sunsets and things like that that can make the animation look incredible. Alright guys, so this is basically the end of the video, and if you are really interested in any of the animation stuff that I do, I'm going to be doing future tutorials on my channel, how I do my stuff in Blender, and then also how I do rendering and animation work inside of Unreal Engine. And if you guys like these types of videos, let me know in the comments down below, because I definitely want to start moving towards doing content like this in the future. Thank you guys for watching through the video. Like I said, a lot more content like this coming in the future. My name is Koupe, and thank you for watching this video.